Hello and welcome to another episode of Christine's Coloring and Crafts. I'm Christine and this will be take 2 of video 2 today. Did not realize that my phone stopped recording. But this is July's finished pages. And including, I finally found my watercolor book. It's the Strathmore watercolor. Now I know it's not cheap paper to be playing around on, but I'm playing around on it. And it's the 140 pound paper, watercolor paper here. And that's my very first piece of my own artwork that does not include putting stickers on it. Anyway, I drew the flower. I don't even know what kind of flower I was thinking. I just wanted to draw a big petally poofy flower. And I did that with just your standard number 2 pencil. I'm not quite sure I can just watercolor a picture into existence yet. Brand new at this. But I used the Myling watercolors, and then I used a little bit of a brownish, like a brown ochreish color in one of the greens to make it darker from my Winsor and Newton watercolors, and then a little bit of a reddish color in my Winsor and Newton colors. And that's my very first artwork ever that I finished as an adult. I did a lot of stuff when I was a kid, but none of that was ever saved. My mom threw it all away. Yay. Anyway, my very first artwork as an adult. And then I copied this page out of Kiyomi Harai's Teacup Kittens. Because I only have one copy now, and I don't, and I know some people don't like to color a page over and over again, not the same page. I do. So, especially when it comes to the Teacup Kittens. Teacup Kittens has been my favorite book ever, most favorite book. I really love coloring the pictures over and over again. So I just copied this onto some of my Nina, I think 80 pound paper. One of the Nina papers, and I tried to do something that was similar to the color scheme that she suggested below. Now some of these she doesn't do this, on some of these she does. And now in her original book too, once you finish coloring the picture, and you could tell it kind of printed wonky, cockeyed, but it's okay. But in the original book, it's actually got the perforation. You can take that part off, and you can actually tear the picture out of the book if you wanted to frame it or something. So I just don't want to color the original picture, not until I get another copy of the book. Anyway, and then this one was out of the pop manga Mermaids and Other Sea Creatures by Camilla de Errico. And this was also a copy because I want to do the page again. I do kind of like the pages in there. I think I'm going to like them enough to do them more than once. Some of them anyway. Anyway, in one of the Facebook groups that I'm in, I believe it is, Hector's. Quit showing me new notifications. I gotta see the name. Even Broken Crayons, Color Brightly for the Soul. And they have a lot of like color alongs and not competitions, but like challenges. And this one was color a picture that represents one of your favorite songs, and one of my favorite songs was Behind Blue Eyes. So I obviously did her eyes in blue, but I also did her hair in blue and the background in blue, and I did it in the Myling watercolors. And then I used Ohuhu markers, Sakura jelly roll, glitter pens, and then white jelly roll and Arteza pencils. I had not used my Artezas, or Artezas, however you want to say that, in a very long time. So I decided to use them. And I think she came out really pretty. She also printed out kind of cockeyed, so I had cut the paper to make her look more straight. She still looks weird. Anyway, who said that? This is out of Bloom. This has no artist name, and it doesn't even have a publishing name. So I'm kind of concerned about this particular book, is whether it's legit or not. I don't know. But it's got a lot of really pretty pictures. And this is my first full watercolor in a book. And I mean full watercolor. I watercolored everything but the background. I used distressed inks for that. And I don't like how they turned out. They did not blend well. Ugh. So that's okay. I'm not really worried about that. It looks kind of like the background's on fire. But I used the Deborah Mueller glittery watercolors to color this, and it's so sparkly. And there's of course some shiny washi tape. I've got more washi tapes coming. I've only got like 2 or 3 rolls, and they're all just like some weirdo stuff. But I was like really impressed with how well the Amazon paper, I mean, look at that, how well the Amazon paper took the watercolor. I mean, I used quite a bit of water. I was not very careful with it at all. And I didn't even prep the page with anything like gesso. I keep calling it gesso. Words for me are hard. Give me a break. Anyway. You would think by take two I'd have got that. Oh, shoot. Anyway, this is the actual pop manga, Mermaids and Other Sea Creatures. And I believe I did this one in July. This last month. I can't remember. And I didn't date it. Silly me. But anyway, I didn't treat this one with gesso or anything either. And in fact, I don't have clear gesso. I forget what I have. Lord only knows. Anyway, I did this mostly in Polychromos, Prismacolors, and I even used distressed ink on her in spaces. And I decided not to go ahead and color in the bubbles like I need to color in on the whip that's in this book here, but I just didn't want to do it. I think they are fine the way they are, especially since they sparkle with the watercolor background that I used. Excuse me, that is of the Artist Loft glitter colors. It's Michael's in-house brand. Sorry, I was really thirsty of watercolor. And then this one, we're going to talk about this little bugger here. Okay, so her hair and the tentacles and even her bows and her ears and her eyes, I am so in love with. And I was devastated when, this is what taught me to learn to test your colors before you use them on the paper. You know, like you test your colors when you use colored pencils, but I didn't think nothing of it. I ruined her skin, ruined her face, ruined her nose. It completely, I mean, you could barely see her lips as is through the paint. You couldn't see her nose at all. And I was trying to draw it back in using the other page as a reference guide. But yeah, no, it wasn't happening. So I called it done on the 19th. It's a mistake on her face, but the rest of it I really, really love. I love the way that the red and the green contrast, and then that purple just kind of pops. And then this one was also another experiment, and I did test the colors out on another sheet of paper first. But then I went ahead and decided, since she's a side profile, I was going to go ahead and do the skin. And I did prep this with that stuff that I got. And I'm looking right at it. I can't think of the name of it. But I did prep the page because there's stuff on the back here. And I want to be able to do this page eventually. This is going to be a great practice page here because it's nothing about it really excites me. It's just a bunch of tentacles. So I can get my watercolors out. I can prep the page because that excites me right there. I like that picture. But I could prep the pages and I could just play with the colors and play with how I'm going to smush them together and you know, maybe mix them together and stuff like that. But I also used her as an experiment kind of to make sure that the skin tone came out great. I'll work on like shading and stuff later. I just want to make sure I had a good skin tone, and I made so much of it that I was actually able to save some, at least fingers crossed, I hope. I saved some. I put it in a pan, in that empty pan thing that I bought, so we'll see. But anyway, I also used the Mylene colors and the Winsor & Newton colors to make the skin tone. And then just the Mylene colors on the suckers, on the tentacles, and down here underneath. And then I used the Deborah Mueller glitter colors on her tentacle hair, which I thought was really pretty. I thought that came out really nice overall. And oh, I used the Distressed Ink, ink tint, or not Distressed Ink, ink tints blocks, Derwent ink tints blocks, and I didn't like how those were coming out, so I went over it with a purple from the Mylene, and I got just a smidge of purple on the next page. Oh, I thought I'd let it dry all the way, but I must not have. Was there anybody else in here? Oh, this is the one color along I did with Zucchini Kitty, and though it's basically done, I do want to finish all the bubbles like that because they look like really funky snowmen, and they just kind of go with the funky whole funky vibe of the picture altogether. So I wrote everything down. I'll finish it eventually. Whips sometimes take me months, as you guys will soon see. Bonk! Just throw my books, don't mind me. Alright, this is the Manga and Chibi's coloring book that I got from Hobby Lobby. And on this page, she is done with the Master's Touch pencils. I do not like how they blend in this book. They do not blend, in fact, very well at all. It was a lot of work, and you could still, I don't know if you can see here, where it looks like it's scraped off, but it's not. It just looks really weird. And so since I wasn't happy with the skin tone, I was happy with the color choices, just not the skin tone and how things blended in this particular book. So I just went to town with the Deborah Mueller glitter colors, watercolors, and I'll leave a link to her Etsy store. She doesn't always have paints in there, but she does from time to time, and they're always beautiful. They smell lovely. They work great. There's lots of pigment, lots of color. They're just gorgeous, and she adds lots of glitter and sparkles. And I had a really good time with the background. It may not look like much, but it's pretty, it's sparkly, and it smells good. And then this one's basically a whip. It's a practice whip. I'm coloring with the Caran d'Ache Super Colors in here, seeing how they work on this page. Although I did do her skin tone with the Brute Fruner squares, and I was also playing with the flowers and smushing the paints together. And up here you can clearly see it did not work very well, but that's okay. It's still a practice page, but I'm still going to label it as a whip because it does need to be finished in various spots. But that's just kind of like my play around practice page when I am in the mood to do watercolors. And then one last one here. I finished, I think this is actually the first page I did in this book. I'm pretty sure it is. I used, again, I used the Caran d'Ache Super Colors on the little girl, including making her skin tone. And then I used the Super Colors in the background as well on the hearts. And I used stickles. You can even see where I, oopsie, stuck my finger in it. And then I used those, not distressed inks, but the off-brand inks with the silver. And even though it says silver, it goes on really clear, and it just makes your whole background sparkly. So I really, really like that. I will probably use that up a lot. And then here is proof that it takes me forever to get a whip done. Sometimes. It depends. I mean, if I get out of the mood, I'm putting it down. But back in May, I was watching a YouTuber friend of mine, and I had actually sent her some Derwent, what are they? Lightfast. I sent her the 12 pack of Derwent Lightfast because she had it on her wish list, her Amazon wish list. I'm like, okay. I love the Lightfast. I have almost the entire collection of Lightfast. And I had actually forgot that I sent her those. And then one day she's doing her live and she's mentioning the Derwent Lightfast that she got as a gift. I was like, oh my gosh, that was me. Anyway, we kind of got to talking in the chat about doing the 12 pencil challenge. So I decided to go ahead and do this page, and I started it in late May and I finished it in late July with the 12 pencils that came with the 12 piece set for the Lightfast. And I was going to use the Derwent Chinese white pencil too, but what I ended up doing is going ahead and switching to my Prismacolor white because, I don't know, just something about the Prismacolor white fit better on this one than the Derwent Chinese for me. The only cheat I used was I used white jelly roll to do the spots. Because, face it, these spots are tiny. There is no way I'm going to try to color around them. Not happening. But with those 12 colors, I learned a lot because I made a lot of my own colors with those. I made my own orangish red. I made my own regular orange because there's no orange in that 12 set. And I made different. This is the original green that came with it. I think it was like mallard green, maybe. I can't remember, but it was like a bluish green. And that's the original green that came with it. I made yellow green, you know, dark green. Very carefully made dark green with black. And then I made some dark reds. And just had a blast learning about my Lightfast. So that was really fun to do. Finally got that done. Hallelujah. Alright, then on to all the Camellia Angel Cova books. This is 50 Ocean Miniatures. This was actually a color along with a friend at Emily's Coloring Corner. Emily there. And of course I will leave links to all these people's YouTube channels. There she is. Now, I did this with Prismacolors and Distressed Inks. I also used a number 2 pencil to draw more bubbles. There was only a handful of bubbles in here. I think these are the original ones right here. And I did all the rest of the bubbles. Just using various lids and stuff that were around. You know, lids like this. Only it was actually my water lids. But anyway. And then, was this one of them? Might have been. Stickles, you know, whatever I can find circles that can help me make good circles. And then I used a white jelly roll pen, of course. And I had a lot of fun doing this. I had a lot of fun adding the extra bubbles. I had a lot of fun making cute little distressed ink bubbles. It was just so much fun. That was so much fun to do with Emily. The other Emily. And then these guys were all earlier. And then we have 50 Vacation Miniatures. Well, I have the pictures that I did for my hashtag Keeping It Cool in July. But first, this one is a buddy color with Haley. And I think it's Coloring with Haley. She's going to kill me if I said it wrong. Coloring with Haley. Yeah, okay. And I did that with... Actually, I had first thought I did it with my alcohol markers, but now I know it was with the Tombos. Tombow markers, Sakura, Jelly Roll markers, and, Sakura glitter markers. Then, of course, the white Jelly Roll marker, and then Distress Ink for the background. And I got my little butterfly stencil out, and I'm like, yay, I'm going to make the butterflies. And then just decided to do the little dots. Makes it look like he's chasing lots of little bugs. You know, they're all in the background. He's just chasing them everywhere. And then, of course, this is one of the ones I did for hashtag keeping it cool in July. And that one was done in alcohol marker as well as distressed ink for the background. And then this one was in, of course it says it, Prismacolor and distressed ink for the little piggy in a bucket of water. Bucket of water! And then we have the little hippo. That was done in alcohol markers and, of course, distressed ink for the background. If you don't see the theme, I am obsessed with distressed inks for the background. I didn't do a background for this one because I drew in a table and a plate. Table and a plate. Or no, the plate was already there. I'm sorry, guys. At least I think it was. I think the plate was already there. But it was in alcohol markers. And then I did white jelly roll on the bubbles. Was that everybody? Nope, there's the last one. This one was done with, of course, the white jelly roll gel pen. And it was done in with the Supra colors. Which I haven't completely made up my mind. Sometimes they look great on Amazon paper, and sometimes they look kind of shady. Get it? Shady. And then, of course, there's 50 spring miniatures. The only reason this one was even taken out was because, and this is another reason why I say whips can take me for forever. This was actually started in April using the Brute Funer squares. And I went, this is the one I was coloring while I was working, you know, talking to customers and stuff. And I'd color in between, either in between calls or on break or during calls when they were yelling at me. Whatever. You know, doing what I got to do to keep a cool head and a level professional personality. You know what I mean? Know what I mean? But I finally finished it and I used distressed inks for the background, of course. And he was a lot of fun too. That was still just so cute. I had to finish that. I just had noticed it while I was cleaning up my desk and getting ready to go back to work, which I thought was this week, but it's actually next week. I guess I just don't know how to tell time. But hey, we're getting there. And then out of 50 autumn miniatures, because I know it's not autumn yet, and it won't be autumn till late September, early October, whatever. But I'm in the mood to color it. And this is where the Master's Touch actually shine, kind of. I made this picture with Master's Touch, which is the Hobby Lobby house brand, and Castle Arts Gold. The Master's Touch being only a 48 set. Some didn't have the highlight color and some didn't have the shading color I was looking for. Oh, excuse me. And I just wanted to see how they did with another pencil set anyway. And they actually do really fantastic, not only with the Castle Arts, but on Amazon paper. I may have spoke about this on a previous video. But they do work fantastic on the Amazon paper. I still wouldn't fully recommend them unless they're on sale, at least 50% off, and you get the 48 set. And you just want to collect them. Because really they feel a lot like the Castle Arts Gold. I'm sure they're going to feel a lot like the Starjoy Gold and the regular Castle Arts themselves, and even the regular Starjoys themselves. And if you have any of those sets of pencils, you're set. You don't need the Master's Touch. Unless unless you really, really want them. They're more of a want, not a need. They're not anything I would highly recommend to anyone. Especially at their price point. That is entirely too much money to ask for a set of pencils that are, one, they are not artist quality. Number two, they don't have numbers or names on them. You have to use my handy dandy masking tape hack to be able to tell which pencil is which. And you have to swatch them as they are in the tin because the color names are on the lid of the tin, and that's the only way you're going to know the color names. I'm highly disappointed in those pencils, but since I only paid half price for them, I'm going to go ahead and keep them. I would look forward to them being in the group home coloring books because those guys are rough on pencils, and even though I just bought the antler pencils, stayed letter, whatever, pencils to add some purples, and I added a few of my Crayola purples in there too. They're going to go through those in a week or two. It's not going to take long. These guys are really hard on pencils, which is fine. I don't mind. I just don't want to be constantly buying pencils when I've already got so many. And the Master's Touch fit the bill. So we will be using those. Next. I think that was it in autumn for this month anyway. Alright, and then 50 Summer Miniatures. I swore I put the thing back in here, but I guess not. Oh, I did. I just don't know how to find it. This is done with the Tombow water-based markers and distressed inks. I had a really good time. I think this was actually the reason I was hesitating so much because I think this is the first one I did with the Tombows. And I think I used a little bit of either Kelly Art or Hoo to fill in some of the colors because I didn't have that many. I still don't have that many Tombow colors. So I used a couple of alcohol markers. Yeah, you can see back here where I used some alcohol marker. That's definitely alcohol marker. The watercolors do go through, but they're not as strong as the alcohols. So, no big deal. It still came out really cute. I'm very happy with it. And then on to some whips here from Coloring Heaven, Fledgling Fairy Special. And you guys could probably look for this to be done, I don't know, December? July of next year? I have no idea. I'm actually not really happy with how it's turning out. I've been using polychromos in here to do the picture. It's Little Fairy Boy by Christine Karen. I'm not really sure about the colors. I don't know if I like how it's turning out. We'll see. I might finish him. There's not much left. You know, his button, his little collar, or his little necklace in here, his wings, finish his shoes up, and the grass. I might as well finish him. Oh, that was done last month. Yeah, that's the one where I hated the fairy wings. Hate fairy wings! Oh, fairies! If anybody can tell me where fairies comes from, let me know. It's a show. It's a show some of y'all grew up on. It's a show I know my kids grew up with. But oh yeah, it is the very first page. Well, peonies and butterflies. I don't know who it's by. Is this all one artist? Some of these Coloring Heaven ones really kind of confuse me. I mean, they're like a magazine. Let's see here. Jana Fairy Art. So yeah, okay. It's all her stuff. And I really like how the flowers came out with the white Jelly Roll pen. Couldn't tell you what pencils I used. Nope, can't tell you. Can't tell you what pencils I'm going to use to finish it. Can't tell you. I'll probably finish with Prismacolors. I think that's the only one I've done in here so far. I need to do more because these are really nice pictures in these books. And then last but not least, one I think I actually might finish tonight. Maybe. I mean, it is 10:30 almost. Anyway, this is Sleeping Beauty by Christine Karen, and I have used mostly my Holbein pencils, and I plan to finish with my Holbein pencils. I have used some of the Sakura glitter pens. I'm really in love with those pens, guys. I'm going to use a distressed ink background, and I may use some glitter pens on this. And her hair was done in polychromos with one Prismacolor. I think 10% cool gray or warm gray. One of the grays. Not French gray. But anyway, hey, that's it for this video. I really appreciate y'all stopping by. Thank you so much. And I do hope you have a wonderful rest of your night and a colorific rest of your week. Hey, questions, comments, suggestions below. Let me know what you think. Let me know which one was your favorite. And if you want to do a buddy color, you've seen like about half of my Camellia Angelkova books. If you've got those, I'm happy to do a buddy color. I think I've got everyone but Christmas on the 50 miniatures on the minis books. So I'm happy to do a buddy color in any of them. Or if you've got another of you know, got the one of the other books that I have, I'm happy to do a better color in that. Oh, looky. It's a sparkly from Deborah's Paints. Anyway, thank you so much for stopping by. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. Okie dokie. Thanks, guys. Love you guys. Bye.